Hi, today I want to answer one question I get very often. How to deal with failure? So in this video I'm going to cover what is the biggest problem with fear of failure, what failure really is, and here will be a huge aha moment, how to avoid disappointment and blame, and 3 things you must do when you feel like you failed. But now here's a fun fact. The largest and arguably most vicious land predators in the world, polar bears, supposedly fail 8-9 times out of 10 when trying to attack a seal coming up for air. Think about it. It is 80-90% failure rate. And polar bears don't sit around depressed about it, because the 1-2 times out of 10 that they succeed is enough to survive. So the question is a polar bear a story of success or a story of failure? The problem is that fear of failure is often the roadblock that stops us from taking action and going for our dreams and goals. Now let's take a look at what failure really is and how to deal with it so it won't paralyze us and trigger such negative feelings as frustration and self-blame. The most important thing to realize is that failure is a state of mind. It is an attitude. It is how we perceive a certain situation. There is a story about a young woman who gave up her dream of writing novels to study something more practical. Nonetheless, she ended up as an unemployed single mom. She says she was as poor as it is possible to be in modern Britain without being homeless. But during this rock-bottom time, she realized she still had a wonderful daughter, an old typewriter, and an idea that could become the foundation for rebuilding her life. So she wrote a book, which was rejected by a dozen publishers. The only reason it got published at all was because the CEO's 8-year-old daughter begged him to publish it. It's not at all an inspiring story, right? Well, perhaps you've heard of Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling said, "You might never fail on the scale I did, but it is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default." The word failure associates with an epic disastrous end, something permanent and unchangeable, a feeling that nothing is going to be good anymore. But it is so far from truth. The feeling of failure is caused when something that you expected to happen doesn't happen. You do something, you expect a certain result, and then you don't get the result that you expected, and you define it as a failure. The problem is that we often become attached to the results that we want to achieve. We become so goal-oriented that we completely forget about the joy that lies in the process of achieving it. We fail to notice how much we have learned and how many amazing people we have met. We fail to see opportunities that have opened to us thanks to our new experiences and new friends. If we want to avoid disappointment in life, we need to accept that things don't always go as we've planned. Sometimes we get the results we want to achieve not as fast as we'd like to. Sometimes we end up with a completely different result. And there is a reason for this. If something doesn't go as you want it to go, it means the universe is leading you to something better. I'll say it once again because it is very important. If something doesn't go as you want it to go, it means the universe is leading you to something better. It is our job to stay open and keep up with the flow. Change your attitude towards setbacks. The truth is that sometimes our best opportunities and our best experiences come from what we perceive as failure. So what to do when you feel like you failed? Here's a 3-step process that you could go through to recover and learn from the experience instead of blaming yourself and feeling frustrated. Step 1. Take a mental step back. Take a step back and look at the big picture without judgment. Is it really as bad as it seems? Is it the permanent end of your dream? Can you see an alternative road? Do you see other opportunities? What have you learned during this experience? Step 2. Let it go. Realize that not everything is within your control. There are other people involved as well. Get past the idea that failure is about you personally. Failure is only your attitude towards a certain situation. It has nothing to do with defining you as a person. When things go wrong, you tend to blame yourself in so many ways that you begin to characterize yourself as a failure. Lose that thinking, because failing is simply a mindset that indicates your disappointment, and it doesn't define who you are. Step 3. Reframe. Reframe the situation in a more positive light. Flip the coin and see the other side of the same situation. Can it mean a new opportunity? Can it mean a new experience? Reframing is a way of changing your perspective of something, and thus changing your experience of it. Now, here is an exercise for you. Remember the situation where you felt like you'd failed, and go through the 3-step process. Below this video, you will find the link to the worksheet for this exercise. Click the link below to download it and see for yourself. Can you reframe the situation? Can you feel the gratitude for this situation and for what it has taught you? I would be glad if you can share your results in the comment section. And also, if you like this video, don't forget to like it. And if you have any questions you want me to answer, you can ask them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.